Good morning and welcome in. It is Mornings in Meridian here on News Talk 102.1 WALT Meridian. About 10 minutes into the 7 o'clock hour here as we begin that first hour of the two best hours of local live talk. 601-485-9191. Of course, you can also listen online at WALTmeridian.com. And, of course, we're doing our live Facebook feed as well. The Facebook page is WALT Talk Radio. Roger is off until Monday, flying somewhere around and about, but Rob here behind the old buttons pushing things, and got Charles Frazier in on a Thursday. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing good. Going to be a very busy show. No guest lined up for today, so it's going to be an open line Thursday, 601-485-9191. So see what's going on out there in the community. Of course, a lot to get into this morning, both locally and national. But of course, the big story with the White House is still cocaine.
Why do they call it the White House?
It is funny. Yesterday, I was watching a little bit of the press briefing on that with Karine Jean-Pierre.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I actually sat through 5 minutes of it.
Wow. You're a braver man than I.
They always have they give her the big notebook,
yeah,
and it's always the same words that are used over and over again. And,
sure.
And I think yesterday it was the Secret Service, and that's in their purview. That's in their purview.
Purview.
Yeah. So that was her word of the day yesterday.
But it ain't no secret. What? What kind of service are they?
I just keep going back to that story.
Mm-hmm.
That should be like a slam dunk. We could figure it out like immediately. I mean, this is supposed to be the most, you would think, the most secure place in the world.
Sure.
And somebody brought a little baggie of the devil's dandruff in.
Well, and how often do you think they're doing that? You know, and I don't think it's the first administration to have that issue. You know?
Of course.
I mean, come on, but. Someone dumb enough to kind of leave it lying around. I mean, I don't know how it was found, or kind of what would, if it was in a package or just lying on a table, or who knows.
What's your bet on this? Is it going to be the cleaning lady? Is that going to be the culprit here?
Cleaning ladies can't afford cocaine. I mean, come on. You got to be kidding me.
I mean, they do work in the White House. I mean, I'm just saying.
But still, I mean, they can try and do that, but I think that would be.
Can you imagine though?
That is not okay. It's your typical cleaning lady is probably not going to fit that profile.
Sure,
this is sort of a white suburban male thing.
Who's been living in the White House lately?
Hunter's a white suburban.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hunter has been there lately. That's the easy. That's the easy target.
I guess I'm profiling. I shouldn't, but that's more than likely is the culprit.
Everyone's thinking it.
Yeah,
everyone's thinking
of course.
it.
Now, is Hunter really that dumb? Well, okay, I think we know the answer to that. It's sort of
survey says.
Yeah.
But just imagine, if you will. All right, so the questions came yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The White House was prepared for. They actually asked Biden yesterday, and of course he just gives the old grin and doesn't answer any questions, but just kind of looks at the press like,
right.
But he was actually on his good meds yesterday. But imagine, if you will, always have to put this scenario in there. Imagine if this happened during Trump's tenure.
Okay.
Just imagine the coverage of it. It's getting coverage on one side, but imagine, if you will, if it would have been on the other side of things. Just imagine the upheaval and the craziness behind it. Or I'll even go back as far as maybe a George W. Bush or something. Like, I don't know, but it's just it just baffles me how they're going to do fingerprint analysis now and try to figure it out. I mean, it's like, do you not have cameras in place?
And maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think that the public perception of illegal drugs is shifted dramatically. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the legalization. Not every state has this of marijuana. And so people are looking at that going, wait a minute, you told us for years that, this is going to be the ruin of our country, and now we're kind of reassessing that. And so, now I'm not an advocate for legalization of all drugs by any means or anything like that, and I think that's a very dangerous path to go down. But I do believe that the public opinion of that has shifted, and I think that,
I think so.
Possibly our reaction to this is more of a, kind of snickering, like, look, it's Hunter again, just being an idiot, or how can they be so dumb? We know it's around. We know that these guys are probably using it. I think that, My father worked in Wall Street in the 80s and, saw it. It was widespread then. I mean, you've seen Wall Street, the movie. And
Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah,
well, Wolf of Wall Street is another
Yeah.
one. And so those things were certainly very prevalent in that time, and they have been since then. And so is it something that we're so surprised about? I don't think so. It's kind of disappointing. And you think, okay, if this is the most secure office building, and it is basically an office building, it's also residence, but call it an office building. The most secure office building, maybe the Pentagon or Langley is more secure, but one of them, and there's a lot of secret documents, as we know, that should remain there. But anyway, that's a whole different issue. But so someone's bringing in illegal drugs and then using them there is, that's really the question. What kind of control does the administration have over the staff? And, how lax is that control? And what else are they doing there? And how often is this happening? For them to find it one time, you think, okay, well, there's probably been multiple incidents. But people usually with that kind of drug, because it's not cheap, are pretty good about either cleaning up behind themselves or bringing it with them.
Did I hear? I think I heard this morning, and I could be mistaken. You're getting dressed and get ready. You hear the news kind of in the background.
Sure. Yeah.
But they were talking about this story at the top of Fox and Friends this morning, and I believe in Washington D.C., I believe possession of cocaine is a misdemeanor. So I believe that's what I heard correct on that. And of course, that changes from, city to city and state to state. But I got a couple of comments on our Facebook Live here. Jimmy Slay says, "Devil's dandruff, question mark." Yeah, well, that's just the, we're teaching you some nicknames for what this stuff is. What do we always say?
Hip listening to us.
Yeah,
anyway.
Marijuana is what is it? The devil's lettuce, I believe, is what we call it. Yeah. So there's all kind of names for it. Our good buddy Zena says, too, the press freaked out over the amount of Diet Coke that Trump drank.
Yeah,
which
true.
He was drinking a lot of Diet Coke.
I mean,
hamburgers. So, but yeah, they addressed it yesterday. There was a million questions about it yesterday. But yeah, her word of the day yesterday was purview.
Purview.
Yeah, okay. So that was her word of the day yesterday. I think she said it like maybe 10 or 12 times about the Secret Service. So, but yeah, they're going to send, I guess, a little baggie with fingerprint analysis and all this kind of stuff. But they said it was in a very heavily traveled part of the White House. Okay. Because there is still tourist groups that come through the White House. I mean, it's kind of a neat thing. You get to tour, we're there on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But was it a tourist? Was it somebody that works there? I mean, so there's still a lot of questions about the devil's dandruff.
Hey, wow.
Like I said, we're making you hip on mornings in Meridian.
That's it.
601-485-9191. Not that we've partaken any of it. So 485-9191. Hey, big thanks to our friends down at Battery One Source. Folks, if you want to start something here in Meridian, we're about to start something here in just a minute when it comes to the city of Meridian. They're going to love us here in a few minutes. But Battery One Source is the place to go.
That's right. 2618 North Frontage Road in between exit 152 and 153. Batteries for every need and description. Watches, remote cell phones, even laptop computers. If your laptop computer doesn't have a battery, you know what it is? It's a desktop. Well, make it a laptop once again. Go see John Dufour and his crew. And, of course, if your cell phone's broken, they got the best cell phone repair guy in the business. Bring it in for a quick fix. And if your golf cart ain't running, you know what? They are the best in town for that as well. Golf cart service and repair. Battery One Source, 601-693-1500. Of course, open 8 to 4:30 through Friday at 2618 North Frontage Road in between exit 152 and 153.
All right, let's go to our phone line this morning. We gave that number out several times. You see it scrolling on Facebook Live as well, 601-485-9191. First caller out of the gate. Hey, caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, good morning to you.
Which one of you, is it going to be you or Mr. Weidman's himself do the official login and everything over the years about the El Presidentes and stuff?
Now, what are you talking about again?
I'm talking about the crack cocaine, Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton, yeah, that's true, right?
I was about to say, how many other drugs have been filtered through that house over the years?
You know it.
Yeah. It's going to tickle the fire out of me to see, well, I had a hole in my pocket, Daddy.
Yeah.
Well, Clinton likes cigars, that's for sure.
That ain't all you like.
Yeah,
that's right.
Interns as well. I think he liked interns.
I made you say it, not me.
That's all right. I ain't scared.
I know you not.
Yep.
What else? So what else is on your mind?
No wonder we're the laughing stock of the country.
Yeah, I know. And it amazes me that it should be a slam dunk deal, but Secret Service is having a time.
I hear you.
There you go. So, hey, appreciate you this morning.
All right.
All right, 601-485-9190. Don't get us started on the Clintons this morning. So
Yeah, well, it's a done deal. But
if we talk about the Clintons too much, we're online now, and
right.
I'm just saying,
watch your back.
It may not be safe.
Right. Might need some protection.
Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey,
the mayor.
Mayor Sacalina. Good morning to you.
Well, one thing for sure, it's not Hunter Biden. He would never leave his left alone.
That's a great point. Yeah.
But anyway, I just happen to have a technical information I want to pass on to you guys.
Come on.
On Saturday morning, of course, my radio set to come on at 6:45. Don't know how long before that this glitch happens.
Yeah, we're actually aware of that, Mr. Benny. We're actually working on that. So
okay, just I wasn't sure you knew about it, so just gonna give you a report and that you take. I knew your engineers can take care of anything.
That's right. They actually jumped on it pretty quick, and hopefully, what we got fixed is fixed. And if it continues, we'll jump on it again.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. On AM stations, they can overpower their signal and to bleed over into another one.
Oh yeah, that happened. That happens from time to time. You're right.
Yeah, I guess it's on FM also.
We're only on FM on 102.1. So, but sometimes atmospherics, especially in the morning, that can tend to happen. So,
I got you. Yeah, technical difficulties beyond our control. The Lord will take care of that.
That's right. We had to get somebody to climb that pine tree and cross the wires and hold that branch just right.
Well, all this weather, it twisted the wires up.
Probably did. So, well, what else is going on up north of Lauderdale County this morning?
Well, not too much. It's been not too unreasonably hot because my air conditioner works excellent. Thank goodness for whoever invented that AC.
I know. Everybody loves them this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I got is my grass grows, my lawnmower quits running. I just can't keep that John Brown thing running.
I know. I told the wife yesterday. I said the grass is already growing up thigh high already after all this rain we've had the last few days. So it's going to be a chore next go around.
Yeah. But anyway, that's enough of this. I get off. Let some intelligent people call in. Thank you. Have a great day.
Oh, appreciate the mayor's report this morning from Sicalina. So 601-485-9191. And Charles, I guess we'll go ahead and venture down this avenue here because I imagine we'll get a lot of reaction from the folks out there. First of all, big kudos to WTOK. They put out a good report yesterday. Spoke with the mayor. Of course, we've read the grand jury report here on the air several times, and we're not going to read through the whole thing again. I think folks have already seen that, and it's posted everywhere.
Sure.
Basically, everyone's read the section about the Meridian Police Department. The grand jury was made aware of a $1 million surplus in the budget, and I've got some comments from the mayor here in just a few moments, courtesy of WTOK. But they put out a story last night, just getting some community reaction from the grand jury report, which came out. It was toward the latter part of the month of June, and basically, Charles, we've seen this before. Hey, body cams, we need that. We need more cameras in the city. We need this. We need that. And, of course, the sheriff's department always gets good high marks on the grand jury report, which is fantastic. But last night, WTOK aired this story about the community reaction to the grand jury report, and the grand jury recommended the city allocate funding for the purchase and maintenance of additional surveillance cameras to help deter crime and aid in the investigation of criminal activity. They also really encouraged the mayor and the city council's office to work together to support the MPD and adopt a budget that will provide adequate funding, which, if we really want to get technical about that, $9.6 million.
Right.
Seems like it's adequate funding. The grand jury toured the MPD, and they talked about funding need to update and maintain the facility. That's one part of this report that was not talked about on the news coverage yesterday. And of course, the grand jury's requested a written report to the circuit clerk to provide an update regarding any action taken on the recommendations. The next grand jury will convene November later this year. So that was kind of the nuts and bolts of the grand jury report, instead of us just reading through the whole thing and bore you half to death. But here was the mayor last night, courtesy of WTOK, talking about, we got a couple audio clips here. First one is talking about that $1 million, the surplus we just talked about there in the first portion of the grand jury report.
They could.
Let me get back up here, and let's try that again.
The surpluses that's been mentioned, the city council removed $1 million, a little bit over $1 million from our budgets of unfilled billets from, I believe, October to February of this year, and put that in their legislative budget, which is, like I said, it's over $1 million. And it's just sitting there, so they could look at it and decide if that's something that they want to move money for cameras.
So there you go. So, Charles, your reaction there, $1 million surplus, according to the mayor, is just sitting there. Council could move that around maybe.
Okay, so the $1 million was for salaries that were not met. Am I right?
I believe so.
Yeah, if memory serves, that was what the funding was for. And so if it's designated and earmarked for salaries and has not been used for salaries, then I think the city council has every right to say, okay, we approve this budget based on that amount going to salaries. We're going to pull that back. Now, if the department wishes to then use some of that money for cameras and equipment and maintenance and things like that, I think they need to resubmit a proposal to the city council and say, we know you've got some money that was earmarked for our budget, for our department, and can we have that money for this purpose? And I think that's probably the proper way they should proceed. Now, if the city council denies it, then we've got an issue. But I think that so far, everything is kind of going according to the way it should go. I don't think that they should have, because that money was earmarked for salaries and they haven't been paying people because they're understaffed, then I don't think they should just have that as a slush fund to use, whatever we want. Now, there are some needs of the police department. I'm not going to deny that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
However,
yeah.
I think that there's probably a proper procedural way to access those funds and to ask for them and to have city council approval. Because basically you're adjusting a budget at that point. You've got budget. You submitted a budget to the council. They've approved it, and those funds were earmarked for salaries.
Sure.
Right, and so you can't just say, "Oh, we're going to use it for something else."
Well, and two, you got to remember as well. We had the mayor on a few weeks ago, along with Ed Skipper, a consultant there, and we also have to remember this too. They are also in a period too where budgets are going to be submitted for the next fiscal year, which is coming around the corner very soon too. So you've got this $1 million surplus over here during this particular budget year, and we're getting ready for a new fiscal year. So it's there's I can see the differencing of there's $1 million, and now we got to worry about a new fiscal year budget too.
And you think, okay, you've got $1 million that was earmarked for salary or for personnel, basically. So
basically,
then I think that needs to be a very aggressive marketing campaign to attract new recruits, and also, okay, let's pay the ones that we have better, and we're keeping them, and and bringing in more. And so that would be also an appropriate use of those funds. But
before we get to Fox News, here we got about a minute and a half before that. The second clip from the mayor last night. We're about to get a drone.
Okay.
To help fight crime in Meridian.
Okay.
Here's what the mayor had to say via WTOK.
We have got a drone that we're looking for. Matter of fact, I understand that that should be here within the next day or two, hopefully. We are trying to build a room where we have monitors or where we can watch our cameras here locally. And so we're doing things, we're working on it. And I realized from the grand jury that our body camera on the police officers are failing. And the police department is looking at some new cameras now. They're trying out a couple. And we're going to be monitoring and trying to do whatever we can to make it safe for our police officers.
There you go. Your reaction on that. We got a drone maybe coming in the next day or two.
Yeah, well, I don't know much about modern policing, and so I don't know how effective a drone can be.
I don't either.
But, I know they ain't cheap, but it seems to me that in order to have a drone working, then you need at least one person flying that drone and monitoring it, if not 2 or 3. So you've got a team of officers working the drone. And is that the best use of that personnel? Or were they better out on the street?
We'll get your reaction on the other side, folks. 601-485-9191. Of course, we're online at WALTMeridian.com and Facebook Live. Also coming up in just a few, we'll tell you how you can win our WALT Stars, Stripes, and Sizzle sweepstakes. Yes, stay close to WALT. right, welcome back in. It's Mornings in Meridian here on News Talk 102.1 WALT. We'll never get over it.
I ain't getting over it.
No. Hey, big thanks to our friends over at Barber & Sons Plumbing, folks. Big sponsors of Mornings in Meridian. And to be honest with you, I think Gary Barber and Gayla Gartman and the staff down there, I think they invented plumbing.
They did. I know it for a fact. Yes.
So the good folks down there.
We owe it all to them, the fact that you can go in the comfort of your home. Barber & Sons Plumbing, 1123 26th Avenue. They've been doing it for over 80 years. Man, that is a long time. Every type of plumbing part is available down there. And, of course, if you bring a picture of the part or bring the part in, Gary can set you up with the right one, show you how to fix it, send you on your way. Or they can come to your home or office and fix it right there, do a small commercial or residential job. And if you're do-it-yourselfer, though, that is the place to go. Everybody in town goes there. 1123 26th Avenue. Give them a call, 601-482-7023. They're in between 26th and 12th, or they're at 26th and 12th Street. And they stand behind the work. Very affordable, licensed, and bonded and insured.
There we go.
Barber & Sons Plumbing.
601-485-9191 is our talk line this morning. Also, be sure to head over to WALTmeridian.com. You still got a few more days to get registered. We're going to draw on July the 17th for our Star, Stripes, and Sizzle sweepstakes. We've got one of those 22-inch Blackstone griddles.
Wow.
We're going to be handing over to one lucky listener out there. So all you've got to do, easiest thing you're going to do all day, just go to WALTmeridian.com, type in that address on your desktop or your phone, however you want to do it, and you'll see the logo there on the home screen. Click it, register, and you're in the drawing. And we could be drawing your name on July 17th for that 22-inch two-burner Blackstone griddle to be given away courtesy of WALT.
And I've been told, of course, that I'm not eligible to win.
No, unfortunately.
How about my wife, if she registers?
I think there's some.
She's not an employee.
There's
Come
something.
on.
There's something in the rules about that.
Really?
Family members too.
About my neighbor down the street.
Well,
Okay, we'll see. Maybe we'll work out a deal.
that's one of those deals. You just look the other way.
I know, I see nothing.
WALTmeridian.com, Star, Stripes, and Sizzle sweepstakes. Go registered now. So let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Joe. Good morning.
Wow, what a reaction.
I know. How are you?
I'm peachy. I got some shout-outs to do this morning. Is that all right with y'all?
Shout them out, baby.
Yep.
Come on.
Well, I was having trouble with my little Jeep. She was taking 3 or 4 turns before she started.
Uh-oh.
So I went down to see your buddy John over at Dufour and check it out for me.
Battery One Source. Fantastic.
Yeah. Battery One Source. Now, that is a big, beefy boy. Good Lord.
A big, beefy boy.
That's right. So, yeah, he took care of it. He said, lady, there's nothing wrong with your battery. It's only a year and a half old. I said, well, it takes it 3 times to start. He said, well, let me clean it up. And he did, sprayed something, poured something, fixed something. I don't know. Starts like a charm now. So, I don't know. Maybe something was dirty and needed to be fixed up.
Beautiful.
So, the next shout-out is going out to the Rock House.
All right.
I went over there and I picked up my gun, put another one in the layaway.
Nice.
And as I'm standing there waiting for my paperwork, I started talking to a guy next to me, and all of a sudden I hear a voice go, I heard that voice before. I'm like, oh, my God.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Who was
You've
it?
found out.
I said, really? You've heard my voice before? He said, yeah, I heard your voice before. I said, do you listen to Mornings in Meridian? He goes, Joe from Turkey. I went, yeah, and all of a sudden, the whole place turned around and looked at me. I went, oh, my God.
We're going to have to get the 8x10 glossies now
right,
while she's out and about signing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to start having a press conference here soon.
Yeah, we're going to have to get some protection out there. Well, you got protection on your hip there. So.
Yeah, I do. I love that little place. And then, then the next guy I was standing next to, he starts talking to me. He said, I thought your voice was familiar. And then the guy behind the counter goes, yeah, he said, she's on radio all the time giving them hell. I said, oh, my God. Is that what I'm going to be known for, giving y'all hell?
Giving us
that's it.
hell.
Give them hell.
Yeah.
We love it. Give us more hell.
Well, Joe, what do you think about a drone that the city of Meridian's going to have for policing, it sounds like, for helping police officers, rather?
Do you realize how stupid that sounds?
Come on now.
We didn't say it. You said it.
Yep. We're not judging.
My question is this. I really don't care how many cameras they put up. I don't care how many drones they get. And if they don't have any place to house these morons, what difference is it going to make? There is no place to put anybody when they bring them to jail. We had an incident here at the railroad last week.
Yep.
The policeman told them they can't do anything about it because they didn't have a witness statement. There was no charges pressed, so the guy walked. Now, how are you going to take a witness statement and charge somebody? Because in order for that to take place, you've got to take that person down to the station, file a report. In the meantime, this idiot's working away.
Yeah, I knew.
Explain to me how that works.
Yeah, I knew when you reached out to me last week, Joe, and told me about that. I was just kind of baffled by that.
Mm-hmm.
So then I checked with another bunch of people, because, I have friends in low places.
That's right.
And they told me that that's some kind of federal law that before they can go after somebody, they have to have charges pressed.
Okay.
I said, no. That doesn't make any sense. So you're going to tell me that if somebody hits me on the head, I'm unconscious on the ground, the guy's walking away where you could literally come and pick him up. And because I don't give you a witness statement or I'm getting carted off to the hospital, that you can't do nothing about it?
Wow.
I was so mad. I was on the phone with Billy Adam Calvert. I was on the phone with Jeff Tate. I was on the phone even, you know who Ben Shirley is?
Yes.
I was even on the phone with them. Matter of fact, I had lunch the other day with Ben and his wife at the Queen City.
Right.
And we talked about all kind of things. And he was the one that explained to me, and he said, Joe, there is no place to keep the juvenile offenders, and there's really no place to keep these people when they put them in jail.
Wow.
So if you don't do something about that first, any of this policing, and personally, they should take that $1 million and give everybody up there a raise.
Yeah.
I mean, there's supposed to be $9 million allocated for new recruits, right? I think that was the figure that you said last time that was in the budget. Am I correct?
I believe
that's the whole budget.
Yeah,
actually.
that's the whole.
$9
That's the whole budget.
And that's maintenance and everything else as well.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot of categories inside that 9.6. I've got a copy of the budget here. I'll have to look and see what the personnel budget was. Of course, that was when the fiscal year started. So.
But I also remember. You remember Weston Lindman, right?
Yep.
Yes.
You remember when he went to the city council and said he found a bunch of discrepancies that he wanted to discuss with them?
I do remember that.
And you do remember that he is no longer in the city?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's because he got threatened.
Interesting.
So my question is, as part of that $1 million, they should take that money and give everybody a raise. Being it's a surplus, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they found it, but they need to give those people a raise. Because if you only got 3 patrolmen at a time, anytime during this city patrolling it, those people need a raise.
Yeah.
You cannot patrol a city of this size with 3 people and not be able to do anything about it. And this excuse is, I don't have charges pressed. That's baffling to me. Somebody needs to prove that to me. And I've been working on that, but I can't get an answer from anybody.
How long did it take the responding officer to get to the scene?
I don't know, because I had a crew. I was only told this after. So what I understand is my superiors found the guy walking. They found what house he was in. The policeman talked to him. And they walked out the door and said, nothing we can do about it. There's no charges pressed, and we didn't see him commit the crime, and we didn't do anything. We can't do anything.
Wow. Oh, boy.
If that's the truth, and that's actually what's going on, somebody needs to show me the law.
Right.
The second thing is, like I said, they have to find a way to house these people. There's no threat anymore. There is no consequence anymore of people going to jail for doing something criminal. And that's making everybody else have a problem. Because if you can't go shopping and enjoy events that are going on in this town. This town is dying and nobody's doing anything about it. You know, everyone keeps saying Meridian's a great little town. There's always something to do. And it's really a bunch of baloney because nobody wants to come here. That's why you can't get any businesses here because the crime is too high. And you can't have anybody come here because there's really no good schools that they can put their kids in. You don't have a good private school. There's no good technical schools. I mean, you got to look at a lot of different things here.
Well, I've always said for years, it's a trickle down effect, and the crime right now is trickling down to a lot of other things in the city, and I think it's grade A #1 problem in everybody's mind right now.
Yeah, and it is, and that's the sheriff has indicated that as well, that he just doesn't have the space to to house these people, and so they let him go, and the criminals know that. It's sort of like what happens in San Francisco when you can get away with stealing $1,500 or $1,000 worth of merchandise. So they get $999, walk out the door, and they don't do anything. They can't do anything.
They're not dumb people.
Right.
They know the rules, and they know how they're set up right now.
He had a freaking dollar bill bag and walked out the store with nothing. With no consequence, no nothing. And he was on foot, not even a bicycle.
Yeah.
That's why I need a drone.
Yeah.
Oh.
They need the drone.
Sorry.
What would a drone have done?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
You have to be in proximity with the drone to be able to follow where he went.
Of course.
Well, and the thing about it is the mayor is talking about this drone and having cameras, new cameras, and people monitoring them. If we can't get officers on the streets right now, who's going to monitor all that?
Well, and that's a great point, but also it leads to the question, okay, we know we have these cameras. There's been a huge investment in cameras, and we haven't built a room to monitor them yet. I mean, so what's the point of having a camera if no one's watching it? Now,
then think about it this way: you have to pay that person.
Of course,
So you can't not only just buy the drone, you have to have the facility to be able to monitor, which means that's a salary.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to monitor a drone, you have to have two people. You have to have the person that's actually going to be using the drone that's got to be in proximity, and then you got to have the second person that's going to be monitoring what's on that camera to tell everybody what's going on. And then from that point, they got to get a warrant. They've got to do all kind of things before they can actually charge the criminal or whatever they're going to do. But still, no, you do all of the steps you need to do. Where you're going to put him?
Yeah, that's right. Go home because there's nowhere to put you. Yeah.
You know, they got the new police facility. They've got the sheriff's department right there, and there's a lot of acreage right next door to it. Why don't we build a facility there? They'll be right in the middle of town. They'll have two law enforcement agencies right next door.
It just amazes me, and we talk about this over and over and over again. It amazes me that Sheriff Solly and the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department works off of the budget they have, and you see the effectiveness.
But let me tell you this. You have the mayor who appoints the police chief, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct, yeah. And then the county.
He's going to give up that power with the police chief and merge everybody into the sheriff's office?
No.
Come on now, that's not going to, I mean, it sounds good and it'd be a great idea, but that's not going to happen. They got to have control, and they got to have control of the city too. That's why the criminals are going rampant right now. They think they're in control.
Well, in the words of Has, one of our other callers, how bad does it have to get? I mean, what's it going to take in order for that discussion to be had at a table somewhere? I mean, we can have it at lunch counters and we can have discussions here on the radio, but when are the people that can make it happen going to get together and say, hey, you know what, enough is enough?
They don't want to do it.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it. I mean, like I said, this is a small town. You can't tell me that they don't know where the crime is coming from.
Yeah, fair point.
I mean, I'm not as stupid as people want me to be, and I think that's what my problem is.
Good Lord.
All right, you know I love y'all. I got to run.
All right, Joe, appreciate it. Preaching it on WALT this morning, 601-485-9191. So... it always comes back to crime in Meridian.
Yes, it does. And, you know, and the city and the sheriff, and we look at kind of each department and do a compare and contrast, and those. Ooh, the differences are pretty apparent.
Well, it's the differences, yes, and then you have to also look at, dadgummit, are we in this for the betterment of the community? Are we in it for ourselves?
Working together? Exactly.
You can sit there and have all your campaign slogans all day long and say, "Oh, I love my community and I'm going to do it for the community." Well,
right.
Is it time to put your money where your mouth is?
There's an extra $1 million in the police department for personnel. Can we not contract with the county and give some of that money to them in order to do some more policing in the city? And that's really why wouldn't there be more cooperation that way? Say, hey, we need something. We need whatever we can get, and we'll take whatever we can get. I know that would require cooperation and probably some contracts and things of that nature, but it would also require giving up some power.
And I'll say this too: the mayor said in that audio clip that we played a few moments ago about the body cams that the current officers have not functioning. They're looking into that, and they're going to make those corrections because, the grand jury keeps bringing it up on the report, so they are addressing that. So we will say that.
But once again, that should be brought out of a different budget. I mean, that's equipment and not salaries.
Yeah, so that's another issue altogether. So phone lines are lighting up this morning, so let's go back to line 2. Hey, caller, thanks for holding. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe.
Well, Joe,
no, she's listening.
Joe's listening.
Yeah,
she just brought the fire this morning.
That's right.
Yeah, well, they talk about all these cameras. They're great. They put them down here in the project about 3 or 5 years ago or something. You didn't hear shots for 6 months. And now they'll stand right up under them and shoot. So nobody's watching them.
Wow. And tell everybody where that's at again.
Highway Village.
Highway Village. There you
go. Another thing, when they get that new, what do you call it, helicopter thing?
The drone.
Yeah, the drone.
Yeah. Drone. I wanted to fly right down 16th Street, and I wanted to go out there and park them between these village apartments where I can watch it.
Be a drone watcher.
Yeah. You'll never see it over here.
Well, was there bullets flying last night?
Oh, well, yeah. Y'all help me watch out for something. The man down on Front Street, you gunman y'all always talking about.
Yes, sir. Tony's.
Tony and Jeff Tate. I want you to wait about 3 months, see which one of them buys a new Porsche coupe.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
There was at least 5,000 shots shot down here the other night. And these big old bombs, I know these big old bombs cost $50, $75 a piece, I guess. I ain't been in the fireworks store in years. But they shot thousands of them.
Wow.
Huh.
And the police say, well, you can't tell the difference between a firecracker and a bullet. I said, I know you can. And my dog does, too, because she sit around here and listen to these fireworks and don't never do nothing. First time they start popping off them guns, she comes running quick as she can, jumps under my lap and tries to get up under my shirt. So she knows, too.
Wow.
And I'm not joking. There was thousands of them shot the other night, over on 16th and 17th.
Wow.
And I know that was all over town, but that's right where I can hear them.
Gee whiz. Well, I
mean right here in my front door.
Good Lord. Well, I always appreciate you checking in with us on that info.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right.
Ask Carl in now, maybe.
I'm pretty sure he's waiting in the wings somewhere. He's collecting.
8 o'clock.
He's collecting his thoughts, I think. So 601-485-9191. So drone in Meridian, possibly. So
Okay.
Yeah. What do they say? Whatever it takes,
Target
right?
practice.
Target practice. Oh no! You just gave him an idea. Phone lines are lighting up. We'll get back to your calls. We got to pay some of those radio bills, and we will be back. Stay close. Well, one of my favorite actors of all time is having a birthday today. Yes, the Rocky theme plays on Mornings and Meridian. Sly Stallone is celebrating a birthday. I love how you're trying to guess his age during the break right there.
I was hitting around it. But
Sly is 77 today. And still doing it somewhat out there in Hollywood. So, but other birthdays on the list today other than Sly, kind of a bunch of B-, even C-. The late Ned Beatty. Beatty would have had a birthday today.
Squeal like a pig.
Let's see. Jennifer Saunders, 65 today. Jeffrey Rush, actor. 72 today. He was in Shakespeare in Love and The King's Speech, and other than that, kind of lackluster. So really, it's all about Sly today.
Okay.
So there you go. Sylvester Adrian. So, but if you're celebrating a birthday, you celebrate it with Rocky. So,
all right.
Before we get to our top of the hour break, let's thank our friends up in Philadelphia at Doc's Toyota. Of course, just a short drive up to Philadelphia.
That's right, a quick drive. And, of course, they've got every kind of 2023 Toyota that you could want. A Camry, Tacoma, 4Runners, Tundras, Highlanders, Corollas, you name it. If Toyota makes it, they've got it. And they've got a huge inventory of those brand new vehicles. They've also got a really big inventory of pre-owned vehicles as well. And they've all been through the rigorous multi-point Toyota inspection process, so you know it's a good quality car. You can check out all of their inventory online at docstoyota.com. And, of course, there's, as you said, just a short ride up in Philadelphia on Highway 16 West. Give them a call, 601-600-3786. And what's great about Doc's is they will rent you a vehicle before you buy. So,
fantastic.
You like that? You like the way the 4Runner looks? Oh, I'm going to rent it for a week, drive it around, and when you decide you love it, go to Doc's, because there is no deal like a Doc's deal. 601-600-3786, docstoyota.com.
I did miss a few birthdays of note here. Former President George W. Bush has got a birthday today. W is also 77 today. So
really? They're twins. Who knew?
Comedian Kevin Hart is 44 today, and the late former First Lady Nancy Reagan was born on this day. Of course, she passed away in 2016. And also from the TV world, Merv Griffin.
Oh, Merv.
Was born on this day. He would have been 98. Of course, we lost him in 2007. So there was a handful of other notable birthdays on the list.
Said they were all B or B-, and then, you know.
No. There's a page 2 to that, dummy.
Oh, page, flip the page. Oh,
flip the page.
Look at there.
Look at that. So the former president, Sly, has a birthday today, along with, of course, Kevin Hart. So we're going to take a break here on Mornings of Meridian. We'll get back to your phone calls. I know we're going to have them. 601-485-9191. We'll be back. Welcome back in. It's Mornings in Meridian here on News Talk 102.1 WALT. Of course, on your radio, online at WALTmeridian.com, and Facebook Live. Go follow and like our Facebook page, WALT Talk Radio. We are live on camera right now, so you got your makeup on just right.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I took a lot of time with that this morning, so I appreciate you noticing.
That is the voice of Charles Frazier here on a Thursday. Thanks for coming in, sir.
Hey, no problem. Thank you.
Absolutely. So while we have an opportunity before we get back to the phone lines, which our number, we give it out all the time, 601-485-9191. I want to thank our friends over at Ready to Roof. Folks, I know it's going to happen from time to time. You're going to get those door knockers.
Those door, at the door?
Yeah, those door knockers.
Come in.
Don't trust them. Got to trust our friends at Ready to Roof because they are certified and professionals in what they do.
Certified as Master Elite Roofers. Sounds pretty impressive, and it is. Only 2% of all roofing companies in the nation have qualified as Master Elite. And, of course, Ready to Roof has. Give them a call, 601-573-1150 for your free estimate. And what's great about Ready to Roof is not only will they come by and give you a free estimate, but they have financing options available. So they have low monthly payments for that brand new roof. They take the hassle out of working with their insurance company, and they'll get you the best possible quote and the best warranty for the value of your home. 601-573-1150. Of course, you can set up an appointment online as well at ready2roof.com.
We did have a listener message us during the commercial break, and we spent pretty much the entire first hour talking about the WTOK story that aired last night. Of course, getting some citizens' comments about the grand jury report last month, and of course, before I get to the comment that was sent to me, the city of Meridian's got to figure out something to do with their streaming of their council meetings.
Right. Okay.
Yesterday, of course, the morning meetings, we're getting off the air at 9. They have the meeting. Of course, they moved it to yesterday because of the holiday, obviously, and didn't get a chance to go down there. So I'm like, I'll just watch it online. Audio is not very good, very muffled. Some of the audio kind of goes in and out, and really cannot keep up with anything that's going on. And they did have a camera shot of the audience, and there was hardly anybody there. The morning meetings none of them are very well attended, but that one was not very good.
Sure, and it's a way for us to attend it without being there, obviously, as if you do it remotely. But, what do they have, a guy with a cell phone just kind of holding
I don't know.
there?
They had one camera view toward the city council, and they would switch back and forth between the city council and the podium, where you would have maybe a department head speak, or the police chief was there yesterday with the mayor. I was kind of tuning in at that point, but I couldn't pick up anything that was being said.
Isn't every city council member and the mayor or the podium, don't they all have microphones in front of them?
They do.
So there would be a way to kind of, capture that audio, you would think.
You would think. Yeah. If we can figure out all of this stuff here,
right,
I think they can take care of that over there.
We'd send the redneck over there, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey,
we got the best in the business down here.
Right.
So just wanted to throw that out there. They did have a council meeting yesterday, and I'd love to have reported on some of that, but it was unfortunate. I couldn't really understand what was being said. But we did have a comment during the break that listeners sent to us, said the council, and just a reminder, the council and the mayor's first action was to turn off the cameras that we had. They were also being monitored, both cameras and monitoring paid for by a grant that was sent into by a listener a few moments ago.
So I wonder if the grant expired, and so it would require funds from the budget to monitor that?
That's a fair question. So in case you missed it, first hour, we were talking about the comments from the mayor about that $1 million surplus. Here are those comments from last night, courtesy of WTOK.
The surplus that's been mentioned, the city council removed $1 million, a little bit over $1 million from our budgets of unfilled billets from, I believe, October to February of this year, and put that in their legislative budget, which is, like I said, it's over $1 million. And it's just sitting there, so they could look at it and decide if that's something that they want to move money for cameras.
So that was the comments from the mayor last night about the $1 million surplus, which was mentioned, obviously, in the recent grand jury report from last month. So that part of it. And, of course, the second part of this that was mentioned in the grand jury report was cameras. And as far as body cams, trying to get those updated. But something we did not know that was potentially coming in the next day or two, A drone.
We have got a drone that we're looking for. Matter of fact, I understand that that should be here within the next day or two, hopefully. We are trying to build a room where we have monitors or where we can watch our cameras here locally. And so we're doing things, we're working on it. And I realized from the grand jury that our body camera on the police officers are failing. And the police department is looking at some new cameras now. They're trying out a couple. And we're going to be monitoring and trying to do whatever we can to make it safe for our police officers.
There you go. Comments from Mayor Jimmy Smith, courtesy of WTOK yesterday, involving the grand jury report. And there was some citizens that they interviewed as well, talking about, budgets and whatnot. And I'm not going to get into that because it's pretty lengthy. But, of course, talked about this a great deal first hour. And $1 million here, $1 million there.
Right. Well, I think, okay, so if you've got a need for body cameras, then get that proposal and submit it to the council and say, okay, we know that money's there and it was earmarked for the police department, so we need, some equipment for not only for the safety of the officers, but also for the integrity of the police actions, so that we know exactly what's going on with each stop that's made.
Absolutely.
And it protects them from any liability in the future as well. So
yeah, and I will say this, I'm glad to hear from the mayor.
Yeah.
We had him here on the show several weeks ago. Did the interview with TOK last night, and good to see the mayor is getting out there and speaking to several media members and having that presence and keeping us updated. We need more of that.
Yeah,
so.
and I wish that the police chief would do the same as well. Let us know kind of what's going on with the bank robberies, kind of the rash of them, and what steps they're taking, and kind of what leads they have or anything like that. Just kind of informing the public about that, because I think that's a major concern, and it's almost become, we make light of it, and are they on bikes or what are they doing? But for the people working in banks, boy, that is a really traumatic experience, and I don't want to make light of that part of it because it really is a major concern, and these criminals are emboldened at this point. I mean, they're just going around saying, "Hey, well, I guess banks, it's like an ATM. You just don't need the card. You just walk in with a mask on, and you're good to go."
Those masks
Take out as much as you can.
Those masks are actually coming in for some use now, right?
Yeah, thanks, China. we owe it all to them.
Thanks, China.
I wonder what Yellen's telling them right now.
601-485-9191. Caller on hold here. Hey, caller. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, good morning to you.
Do you think that drone is bulletproof?
We were just talking about that.
I think we're going to find out, aren't we? Yeah.
It's going to sharpen their shooting skills.
Yeah, they're going to have something to shoot at
it's
now.
A moving target.
Another $1 million. They already got, 10? They still can't do the job?
Yeah, 9.6 was the initial budget. So, and I think some more has been moved around, I think. So.
Yeah, to somebody's pockets, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like this is probably going to be. But anyway, y'all have a good day.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.
There you go. So, I think that's going to be the next joke is the moving target in the air. So,
there it is. Shoot it.
but just to be clear, the 9.6 was the initial budget, and of course, as fiscal years move along, there's monies that are moved around from budgets into a legislative fund, and of course, we've talked about that in the past as well.
Yeah, we have, and the 9.6 was based on, I think, full employment at the police department, which is 120, something like that, officers,
something like that, give or take.
And I think we're at about half that right now, or possibly less.
Maybe.
So, so there is a huge surplus in those funds that were allocated for salaries. And so I think that the city council has every right to take that back, but I think also the police department has every right to say, wait a minute, we would like to put in a request for new equipment. For the police department or upgrades to the building or whatever that's going to be.
Right.
And then, hopefully attract more police officers as well, whatever that's going to be to, kind of get more personnel in force.
Yeah, absolutely. You were talking about earlier, we were talking about just all the trickle-down effect of all the crime and everything, policing and whatnot. I mean, Meridian, despite our flaws, we still got some goodness here. I mean, I will say that we still got goodness here in the city of Meridian.
Oh, sure. And I think there's a lot of great things about it. I mean, MCC and workforce development. I mean, we've got the Career Technical Institute that's being built, and that's going to be a wonderful facility as well for high school students all over the county. And so there are a lot of good things. Of course, we know about the infrastructure here. We know we've got the airport, the interstates, the railroads, everything like that's in place. And I think the people here are, for the most part, really good people as well. We've got a dynamic downtown. A lot of people come in and travel through and say, wow, you got something really great here. And so I hear a lot of positive comments about Meridian just in the restaurant. People traveling through saying they're very impressed.
Because I know you see a different realm than we all do, because, I mean, it's a lot of folks coming in, like you said, from out of town, and you kind of have that finger on that vein a little bit of those folks that are coming through Meridian.
It's sort of an
well.
objective opinion of just visually how it looks and what we think about
just
it.
Just kind of passing through, and then they're on their way wherever.
Going to the Max or going to the Raleigh Center and staying at the 3 Foot and that sort of thing. But, I think that also we have the same problems that a lot of other cities our size have in, well, not only Mississippi, but throughout the South. And I don't want to get into the complacency of saying, oh, well, it's just that goes with the territory.
Yeah.
No, I think we can make a difference, and we can be better than that, and we should strive to be better than that. But I don't think that we're an aberration by any means as far as the level of crime or kind of what's happening here.
Yeah.
But what do we do about it? And do we don't want to accept it and be complacent. And that's really the difference. So what are our citizens going to do about it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and what I think we brought up, what was it, yesterday, or it may have been back on Monday. My days are running together because of the holiday on Tuesday.
I got to watch that shows me the day of the week.
I know.
I'm like, oh, it's Thursday.
It is Thursday.
It is, yeah.
But, we talked about the bank robberies, with these armed individuals that are going in to rob these banks. What if you get a citizen that has a gun?
Well, yeah, we talked about that.
I mean, we've talked about that.
It's going to take one incident of somebody who says, not in this bank, not today. And, then you've got, who knows? I mean, collateral damage on those things can be unbelievable. And then, a criminal kind of, he gets under a duress, and what does he do? Take hostages? I mean, who knows? It can go south very quickly.
Yeah. And, of course, we had the gentleman that called up last hour who checks in with us from time to time about the number of gunshots that are out by his place. It just amazes me that,
well,
some of it was,
He was talking about July 4th, and living in New Orleans for 10 years, I mean, and it wasn't so much July 4th, but certainly New Year's Eve.
Right.
Shots fired in the air constantly. That was a cultural thing. Is a lot of people did that, and they had ads on television, don't shoot your gun in the air because what goes up's got to come down.
Yep.
And every year there would be somebody injured or killed by a falling bullet. So, I'm not justifying that. I'm just saying that they probably weren't shooting at each other. And so does it negate any risk? No. I mean, it's still there, and you've still got those bullets coming down. But at least it's not a sort of well, I guess it's criminal to shoot your gun in the air. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
It's not a shootout per se. Right. But anyway.
601-485-9191 online at WALTmeridian.com. And, of course, while you're at WALTmeridian.com, don't forget to register for our Star, Stripes, and Sizzle sweepstakes. 17th of July, we're going to be giving away that 2-burner, 22-inch Blackstone griddle.
So whoever wins, I think we should go over to their house and watch the election results on August 8th.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like
Cooking
it.
for us.
I like
All right.
it. There you go. Go register now, WALTmeridian.com. Just click on that Star, Stripes, and Sizzle sweepstakes logo on the homepage and get registered to win. We'll do the drawing on the 17th right here on Mornings in Meridian. So, and I tell you who else is fantastic. That's our good buddies Adam and Adam. Well, just yell for one of them. They're going to come running down at 22nd Avenue in there. Well, say brand new location, but fairly new location there on 22nd.
Yeah. It's fancy, that's for sure. And, of course, they're at 217 22nd Avenue, just 2 doors down from the Meridian Children's Museum. I don't know if you've been down 22nd Avenue recently.
Ooh, it's nice.
It is nice, really nice. And I know that it was a long, painful process to get there, and I'm sure Adam and Adam appreciate the fact that it is so nice now. But, of course, A&A Glass is the #1 glass replacement company here in town, have been for 10 years running. So you need to go see them. They'll work with your insurance company. They're fast, friendly, and they'll beat any price in town. And, of course, they will work with your insurance company. As I said, open 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. A&A Glass, and they got great T-shirts as well. 601-693-GLASS. And if your spelling ain't so good, that's 601-693-4527.
Just to read a couple of comments from some of the folks out there with this TOK story that we've been referencing this morning. Appreciate TOK for allowing us. Of course, they do a great job there. 2 residents commented on the story with the grand jury, the city council, and the mayor. One citizen said, I think if the city or county has extra money, that it would be beneficial to our police department. It would also save them. People would know actually what happened in a case. It also saves the individual person, too. There would be no he said, she said. Another comment says, if they have extra money to spend and they can spend it on body cameras for police and cameras that they can use for surveillance or anything else, anything that can protect them and help solve some of the crime in town, I think it's a good thing. So talking about obviously the $1 million surplus we've been referencing.
$1 million.
$1 million.
Yeah, and the cameras are really important. I think that's as we've seen in a variety of past incidents, that the cameras show exactly what happens, and a lot of times it will exonerate the officer from any wrongdoing.
Sure.
The flip side is also
true.
The
other side
it exposes it, but either way, the camera doesn't lie, and so it gives an accurate picture of exactly what's going on. So very important that those cameras are there, and they obviously can be used as an agent in testimony as well, saying, hey, this is the footage, this is what happened. It's not just his word or her word against the criminals.
All right, let's go to the phone line. Caller on hold. Hey, caller, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Well,
anyhow, something that's funny, I mentioned about the drones, and here they are finally getting one.
I know, you mentioned that earlier, yeah.
But here's the thing that I'm seeing a lot of, not just on one particular news channel, but on a lot of them. And that is the problem with ghost guns.
Ghost guns.
Mm-hmm.
It's where these kids, people, whatever, can get parts, and they can assemble an entire gun, more or less out of anonymity, to where that it's not registered, nothing. It's like, it's an unregistered gun that, because of the fact that it was built from parts.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call them, and they say that they are a huge, huge, huge problem, and probably so around here, because all it takes is somebody with the internet and the ability to gather parts from however many online locations, have them shipped to the house, assemble it, and boom, you got yourself one.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard the ghost gun story has been filtering all over Newsmax and Fox. I've been talking a lot about that. So, and of course,
I don't know. A lot of these criminals have guns that are either stolen or purchased illegally, on the street or anything like that. So it's just another component of this illegal possession of firearms. Sure. And the criminals are going to get a gun.
They're going to get their hands on it, yeah.
And a ghost gun, I wonder how many are actually, how many criminals are going to all the trouble of assembling them. They just want to go steal one or buy one on the street, I think would be, the easiest path. But yeah, it's another component and another issue that we're facing with illegal weapons.
But getting back to the drone thing, and I thought it was kind of funny that what's your name? There was Joe, I guess it was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was mentioning about, what are they going to do with all these criminals? Well, guess what? There's more than one means. Hey, the courthouse is going to be freed up for space downtown before very long.
Yeah, but they're going to. Yeah, but they're going to use that building for archives and whatnot. So.
Yeah.
I believe I'm correct on that.
Okay.
So that's what I thought they were going to use.
There's always the ankle bracelet.
Yeah.
There's more than one means of incarceration and control of movement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what she doesn't understand. And there's always parchment.
Yeah. Send them up the river, huh?
And don't think they won't do it.
Well, something needs to be done, that's for sure.
They'll find something for them, because, they ain't no way that they're just going to let them go unpunished.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Mississippi be that lenient on not punishing any criminals doing something, especially that involves an armed robbery type situation or anything else, murder, whatever. I haven't seen them being that lenient on anybody committing crimes yet.
Right.
If it comes down to a problem of extreme leniency, sure, then we got a problem. But until that day approaches, hey, if they have to crowd however many of them they can into a cell, it's kind of funny. They're going to do what they can to shift them around or do whatever they have to stay legal. And the funny part about it is that I think that the fact that they've got something that's in the air, yeah, somebody might take shots at it, sure. But the thing about it is you're going to have a mighty doggone good scope on that rifle to be seeing something, say, like 500,000 feet in the air.
Right. Well, I hate to cut you loose, but we got to take a break to pay those bills.
Pay them.
Pay them. We're going to pay them. All right. Appreciate your phone call out there. I know we got some more folks trying to ring in at 601-485-9191. We'll be back. The heat is on. 601-485-9191. Back here on Mornings in Meridian. Robin, Charles Frisia here on a Thursday. Hope you folks are having a great morning. Of course, Glenn Beck on the way at 9, followed by Clay and Buck, and of course, Sean Hannity and Joe Pags on your drive home. Of course, you can listen to all those shows online at your desktop, WALT Meridian.com. And we want to remind our listeners as well, of course, our viewers on Facebook as well, that we're going to have Lieutenant Governor candidate Chris McDaniel is going to be on the show live in studio. He's going to be stopping by here in Meridian at 8:30 tomorrow morning. So we'll go till 9 o'clock with Mr. McDaniel tomorrow morning and talk about his candidacy for Lieutenant Governor. Of course, he's going to be down at Long's Fish Camp tonight for a campaign stop. He'll be in Ellisville tomorrow night, but between those, he's going to make a swing by here to Mornings in Meridian.
Awesome.
So appreciate his campaign for willingness to.
And you told me I can't come in. I don't blame you. I mean, okay.
And also, Paul Tarver is going to be in with us tomorrow.
And Charles won't be here, so.
Paul will have his hot light on Chris McDaniel. I got some questions. So, but we'll be visiting with Chris McDaniel. Of course, we keep saying that is going to be the big statewide race everybody's going to be watching between Chris McDaniel and, of course, the incumbent Delbert Hosemann for that lieutenant governor's seat. So we'll be visiting with Chris tomorrow.
Awesome. So if you have any questions for Chris, then call him in, and we'll write him down. Well, you'll write him down. I can write them down, but I won't be here. So.
Yeah, we would appreciate that. Any questions you want us to ask Chris McDaniel tomorrow, because that 30 minutes is going to go by quick.
Yep.
And it always does, and we just want to give him the fair amount of time that we gave Mr. Hosemann earlier. We had him back on last month for a 30-minute clip, so we're going to do the same for Mr. McDaniel as we do for all candidates.
Flag questions? Oh.
Oh, no. I knew you were going to go there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you,
I'm not allowed on the radio tomorrow.
Well, I'll tell you one place to go by and talk politics, both local and statewide, and have a good bite to eat is going to be the Queen City Truck Stop Magnolia Restaurant.
Indeed. And, of course, today is Thursday, isn't it? Yes, I think it is. Once again, confused as to which day it is this week. And they got pot roast. They got fried or baked chicken. Fried pork chops, chicken pan pie, chicken tenders, and of course they always got the veggie plates over there. They got the Biggie Burger. How big is it? Humongous.
Huge.
And huge. And the long haul breakfast as well. If you're a long haul truck driver, that thing will keep you going all day long. And even if you're not one, that'll be plenty of breakfast for you. Go see him, the Queen City Truck Stop, the Magnolia Restaurant. Give him a call. Get something to go. 601-482-0259. The coffee is hot, the air is cold, and the folks are friendly. Go see him, Magnolia Restaurant inside the Queen City Truck Stop. They're just great folks over there at exit 150.
Fantastic. So appreciate him over there. Always a good bite to eat. Well, your good friend, former President Donald Trump, is back in the news this morning. He is taking his shot at the Bidens with the cocaine that was found there at the White House.
Why do they call it the White House?
Exactly. Okay. President Trump took a shot at the Biden family after cocaine was found at the White House over the weekend. Of course, they discovered the substance, as how they put it in the story on
substance.
He took to Truth Social, and he said that, quote, does anybody really believe that the cocaine, and he put cocaine in all caps, found in the West Wing of the White House, very close to the Oval Office, is for the use of anyone other than Hunter and Joe Biden?
Well, now, wait a minute.
He wrote Wednesday on the social media site Truth Social. He said, but watch, the fake news media will soon start saying that the amount found was very small and it wasn't really cocaine. But he's putting cocaine in all caps.
Okay.
But rather common ground up aspirin, and the story will vanish.
Ground up aspirin.
That's what he said.
Okay. Wow.
So there's Trump at it again.
Who's grinding up aspirin is what I want to know.
Yep. But you know, the Hunter part of it obviously wouldn't shock anybody, but put Joe Biden in there too. So
yeah, I mean, Joe's got enough issues. Don't throw cocaine on that as well, please. I mean, really, you know, and is it Hunter's? Probably not, because I don't think he'd be walking around. I think he's, well, how dumb is he? Yeah, that's really the question. Maybe he is that dumb.
Do we know we're talking about here?
No, I think it was probably a staffer. I mean, you know, or as they say, it's a well-trafficked area. Maybe, you know, somebody thought, hey, well, I'm going to do a line in the White House.
I just thought,
but yeah, who knows? But obviously, there's some security risks. If they can bring in a powder to the White House, which obviously we've had some issues in the past of anthrax and other things. So, if people can bring that sort of thing in and just leave it there, then if it's a member of the public, then that's a concern. If it's a member of the staff, obviously we've got concerns about drug abuse and how rampant is it. And if it happens to be Hunter's, then he's just using the White House as a frat house. And, which are we surprised by that? Not necessarily, although I just don't think it's his. I mean, I think that he's probably, more in isolated areas and not kind of in the general public areas. But
I got to give
it's an interesting story anyway.
I got to give DeSantis credit. He had a good joke about it. A headline here says DeSantis jokes about White House cocaine discovery, been blowing it.
Wow.
So there you go. So see, even some of the GOP candidates are taking their shots at it.
Yeah. I mean, but as far as Trump goes, accusing Joe of doing coke, I mean, I don't know. I think that's a bit of a stretch. I mean, it really is.
Let's go to the phone line this morning at 485-9191. Hey, caller, good morning.
Hey, Rob, how are y'all doing?
Hey, morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Mr. Frazier, you well?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. How are you, Freddie?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
I think I'll chime in on the drone deal. Y'all probably beat it to death.
No, we want to beat it some more.
Some more. That's right. Shoot at it.
A drone's just a big toy. They don't need anything like that. Drones are pretty good for searching for dead folks and looking at tornado damage and stuff like that. But policing, it's just a waste of money. They wasted money on the bicycle patrol at one time. It never worked. They had horses.
Yeah,
that
they
didn't
did.
work.
Nope.
Drones not going to work. They just need trained people to stay and give them resources that they need. They certainly don't need a drone because it doesn't stop crime. It just maybe looks at the crime scene well after the fact, or a fire or disaster. It's just a toy. That's all it is.
Well, the last time we had the mayor on, Roger asked him about, pay raises for police officers, and the only comment that we got from the mayor is that they had looked into that, giving them another raise whenever they went into this last budget year. I'm just hoping give them another one maybe, and we can get some folks to maybe attract them to want to be officers here. Mm-hmm. But have we gotten to the point of no return on that? Hope not, but it's looking like it.
Right. Well, they need. You're right. They just need to attract people that stay on the force 5 or 10 years or longer and get experience and train them and get some leadership up there. They're so lacking in that from the leaders of the police department to the council or into the mayor. So that's my comment.
Yeah, and of course we said earlier the drone would be good target practice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's just a toy. I mean, it has military implications. Mm-hmm. It has doesn't the sheriff or the Odie and his bunch have a drone, or we're going to get one?
I believe so. I believe you're right.
For searching and all, but I don't know if they've used it or not. But
mm-hmm.
still, it's not going to catch a criminal. It's good for, like I said, finding dead folks and tracking deer and
mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Look at stuff that you can't, like big bodies of water, and it's just where stuff is inaccessible. Policing, that's just a big joke.
Mm. All right, Freddie, appreciate you out there.
Okay, come see us.
We'll do it. 601-485-9191. So yeah, I can see the point there with the drone. I mean, when it comes to, we've seen them used by, we talk about our friends down at TOK. Whenever they have a storm come through, they'll fly a drone over and you see the damage a little bit. You see the weather services do that. And I could see where you get out to a lake and you can't really get physically out there if you don't have the personnel. There are avenues to use it, but as far as everyday policing, I'm not trained to answer that.
And I would think, we talked about it off air, that crowd control, if we've got a big event downtown, a parade, anything like that, you can observe things. But, boots on the ground or,
mm-hmm.
shoes on the ground, however you want to describe our local police officers, would be as effective, if not more so. But you do get a bigger picture if there's a kind of a major event, a big gathering of a lot of people. I guess if they have... kind of infrared cameras, they can
mm-hmm.
determine if people are going through the woods. How often are we mm-hmm. looking for suspects in an environment where the infrared cameras can be effective? Not very often. And doesn't the county have one that has that capability? And couldn't we borrow it, use it, and just say, hey, we need to use that? And I would think that there would be at least that interagency cooperation.
Charles, if they were just put everything under the sheriff's department, they wouldn't have to worry about any of it, borrowing nothing.
So, Freddie has some points. I'd like to hear about the practical applications of a drone and how it can be used for modern policing.
Right. Yeah. Phone lines are lighting up again. Let's go to line 2 here. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning. How y'all today?
Hey, good morning.
I agree with Freddie 100%. I think the drone's a toy. And I think, like I say, boots on the ground is what we need to do. But I have a couple other comments. Y'all, I don't know if you've mentioned it, about the what was in the paper today about Mississippi being one of 10 states that don't let felons that have served their time off on the felony so they can vote again.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with, I think 100% we need to keep the felons as felons. They shouldn't be allowed to vote when they do the crime. That's just something that should deter them if they care anything about voting.
Right.
And I don't think we should do that. And I'm glad you're going to have Chris McDaniel on tomorrow. I'm going to be all ears. I want to hear what he's got to say because he is the conservative candidate for Mississippi, and I hope he goes in. Other thing I wanted to say, did y'all see that news about Darrell Thompson?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure did.
Okay. Now, that guy ought to sue Meridian.
Yeah, we actually aired that news story at the top of our news this morning. But yeah, we found not guilty. So
on 17 counts.
17 counts.
Yeah.
17 counts, not guilty. Now, who brought that to him? They obviously didn't have any proof, or it was just a made-up thing. And that guy ought to sue the city, and that ought to make him police chief. Something, you know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, that guy has, like I say, he went through a year and a half of absolute insanity. And I think that he deserves something from the city of Meridian. I thought he did a good job. And when they brought all those charges forward, I thought it was bull crap in the first place.
Well, he was Officer Thompson. He was a sergeant on the police force, I believe, if I'm correct. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You know, he was the guy that actually got on TV and talked about crimes. I thought he did a wonderful job. He was, up there with Ward Calhoun, and being on the TV and talking about the stuff. And I thought he presented the city of Meridian Police Department very well. And when all those charges came up, I told my wife, I said, "Hey, there's no way this guy's done that."
Yeah, I've got the story here in front of me. It was in August of 2018 that former Meridian City Councilman Weston Lindeman brought several allegations against Thompson to the office of the state auditor. Lindeman alleged Thompson had misappropriated public funds. Thompson repeatedly denied the accusations, maintaining his innocence. He goes to court. Jury finds him not guilty on the 17 counts. Of course, there was other charges alleged that he falsified timesheets and converting public funds to his own use. So Mr. Lindeman is quoted in that story, being on the council at that time. So, I think Mr. Thompson's got a case there.
I do, too. I mean, like I say, he was fired from his job and no chance to be rehired by anybody. Who's going to hire a policeman that's got 17 felony warrants out against him? And then all of a sudden, this guy's found not guilty. And anyway, I think he's got a case, and I think he ought to carry it forward to the full extent of the law and get his back pay and maybe some, pain and suffering out of the deal, because I guarantee he went through that. So, anyway, but thank y'all for having Chris on tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. And we'll be listening tomorrow. Thank you, guys, for what you do.
All right, appreciate you. All right, 601-485-9191. Yes, Chris McDaniel will be on the show tomorrow, scheduled to be on the show at 8:30 in studio, and I promise you that 30 minutes is going to go by very, very quickly. So we're lining up some questions for Chris as he is making a run at the office of Lieutenant Governor. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Hey, sir, how are you?
Doing fine. I'm glad you're going to have Chris McDaniels on. Be sure to mark this question down in case I don't get to call in.
Okay.
I have spoke to him about the county taking over the city and the process in the legislature.
Okay.
He explained it very well, said it's very doable, even if they don't cooperate with him. So I wanted to mention that. If you'll note that question tomorrow.
Okay.
Second thing is, I hadn't been listening all morning, so I was told that I think it was 3 police officers last week hired on with the sheriff's department. So I would assume we're 3 short on the city police department.
I think it's more. I think it's way more than 3. We're short,
but just in the last week, 3 more. Yeah,
from the 15.
I know. Tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And hey, look, the Thompson. That was real bad. I mean, 17 counts and they couldn't convict the guy. Now, where did the actual trial take place?
If it had anything to do with the state, I would assume that this came out of Jackson. I would assume that. I'll have to look more into that. So.
Okay, well, maybe we should, probably keep that in mind. Not saying that the jury was wrong, but
yeah, because I'm looking at the indictment right now of the jury verdict. It just says the United States of America against, of course, Daryl's full name right there. So. Looks like the Southern District of Mississippi. So that's where they tried the case. So
I guess what I'm getting at is, he's innocent. He's been cleared from his peers, but you can go to certain places and get the verdicts that you would like to get. If people that's not paying attention out there don't know that, just get in business and you'll find out. But so I mean, I'm not making any. I'm just making a point. It could be wrong or right. I'm not trying to go either way with it, but it's hard to find a jury of your peers now. If you think about it, I don't know that our justice system don't need some revamping.
You're right.
But,
well, all right.
Listen, I'm listening, guys. I jumped around. I understand that, but
that's
I
all right.
Didn't have much time.
Hey, we'll get you back in studio again real soon because the 8th is going to be here before you know it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Y'all have a great one.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right, let's go back to line 2 before we get to a commercial break. Hey, caller, good morning.
Hey, I just want to make a statement there. I was at the police department when I was working there with them when all this stuff with an officer.
Yeah.
There's more there to me that means the most of anything in anybody's mind has got any sense. I mean, there was just a lot of embezzlement that went on, and they accused him. And I don't know. I wasn't on the jury. I'm not the judge. But that's Dubos's boy. He's got 2 stepboys, whatever they are, to him. And every time they turned around, they were running into some kind of crap. So I'm just going to, I've said more than enough. And I'm just going to let it go and see what happens.
All right. We appreciate you out there.
Yes, sir.
All right. We're going to take a break here on Mornings of Meridian and pay off those bills. Maybe have a time for one more phone call at 485-9191. We'll be back. King George here on Mornings in Meridian. Of course, you can hear great classics like that from the King George Strait and others on our sister station, 105.7 The Legend. And, of course, for all those classic hits, good classic rock there on our other sister station, 97.9 The Buzz. So there you go. There's your buzz. So, there was one comment that I had to go back to. We read some of our comments live on air from our Facebook Live feed. It was from earlier in the show. Actually, it was earlier this hour. It says, give all of those coroner candidates a runner-up job at the police department.
Oh, the runner-up job.
Whoever the runners-up are, you're go work at the MPD.
You're now a police officer.
So,
right.
The coroner jokes never
that would
end.
we'd be fully staffed, wouldn't we?
I know, right?
We'd be overstaffed at that point.
So I had to read that one real quick from one of our listeners.
Good idea.
Yeah, it is a pretty good idea.
Right.
So, also wanted to throw this out as well. Of course, I know Donna Jill Johnson would appreciate this as well. There's only a few days left to register to vote and be eligible to cast a ballot on the August 8th primaries in Mississippi. The deadline is Monday, July the 10th at 5. Mail-in forms must be postmarked by that time. All circuit clerk offices in the state will be open for special hours this Saturday from 8 until noon to accommodate people who may not be able to come in Monday through Friday. So if you need to go ahead and get registered, Donna Jill and the folks will be down there Saturday 8 until noon for those special hours so you can get registered for the August 8th primary. So
good.
And of course, some folks, I realize they are getting their new voter registration cards because there has been some redistricting a little bit for some of the precincts. So just reference that voter registration card, as Donna Jill always likes to tell us, and we're going to tell you. So
that's right. We do what Donna Jill says.
We follow orders, and we try to follow them well. So,
right.
But August 8th, it's hard to believe we're sitting here on July the 6th. We're almost a month away.
Wow.
Through all of the talk we've had about all these races, we are on the doorstep of this whole thing. So.
Right.
But anyway, been a good show today, of course. I appreciate all your phone calls, and we'll be back tomorrow. Well, I'll be back tomorrow.
I'll be back.
Paul Tarver will be in with us. And, of course, as we mentioned, Lieutenant Governor Chris McDaniel, candidate, will be in studio tomorrow morning at 8:30. So if you got questions for Chris, 601-485-9191. So it's going to be a busy show tomorrow.
Yes, it will be. It should be a good one.
Folks, have a good rest of your day. Be safe out there, and Glenn Beck is next. Bye, Charles.
Bye.